Hi everyone, Letty here from Party Planner Papery. I have another crafty tutorial. This is an alternative cutting guide for the July 2025 sheet load of cards, 2 projects, 1 sheet of 6x6 with no scraps. Welcome back everyone. So I am part of the SheetLoad creative team. I had a video on the 2nd of the month where I released my version of the SheetLoad. If you're not familiar with the SheetLoad, this is a 2-page sketch that is released by Call Me Crafty Owl. I'll have Alicia's YouTube channel linked down below. And so basically you get a sketch. She gives you all of the dimensions and everything and the cutting guides. So it's a 2-page, sketch. You can pick that up on her YouTube channel. And what I wanted to do this time around was the actual sheet load calls for a 12 by 12 this month, but because I wanted to use some of this Coquette collection by the Paper Studio, I picked this up at Hobby Lobby on a recent Hobby Lobby haul. If you haven't seen that one, I'll link that haul video at the very end. It had some of the more recent items from Hobby Lobby, which was this collection. And what's beautiful about this collection is that it has coordinating stickers and sticker books and all kinds of just different fun things that'll go perfectly with this paper pad. There's a 12 by 12 version, 6 by 6 version, and then there's also a paper crafting kit as well. So anyway, there's a whole bunch of things at Hobby Lobby for this, and I could not wait to start using it. So what I wanted to do was make my sheet load with this. Now, one thing that I did different was I actually turned this from a horizontal card to a vertical card. Okay, so that's what I'm going to show you in today's video. I'm going to show you how to cut down 1 sheet of 6 by 6 and how to turn it into a card and a bookmark. Now, because this paper, as beautiful as it is, it's single-sided. Okay, so because the other side is white, I went ahead and used 2 sheets of this 6 by 6 paper to make 2 cards and 2 bookmarks because I mixed and matched my patterns. You can kind of see here. Instead of having like white, I went ahead and mixed and matched my patterns, and I altered the sketch just a tiny bit. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how I cut my paper down to make my 1 vertical card that was to match the sheet load. So here is a sort of a side-by-side comparison there. It's a little different. And then the other project that I did was I was able to make bookmarks with my leftover scrap. When I cut down my large mat, I'm left with a scrap here, and I wanted to do like a 2-project sort of combo with no scraps left over at all. So here's what I came up with. We're gonna make both of these projects with, again, 2 sheets because we're gonna make 2 sets. I think this is super fun. It took me a while to film this video because I wanted to finalize my bookmarker design. And here is what I came up with. I thought they turned out super adorable, super cute. So I have a holographic bow that I had die cut out from my silhouette. And then I also have a piece of holographic cardstock back here that just kind of layers. And then I have the beautiful pattern paper in the front. And the reason why I went ahead and layered this up on some cardstock was because this paper is actually a little bit thin. I tried laminating separately. I tried laminating some and it was just a little too thin for my liking. So when I added the additional layer of the holographic cardstock, it does give it a very basic back, but it is extremely sturdy. And then I really like how it ties in with that little bow on the corner. So I think these bookmarkers turned out super cute. I think they're so fun. I'm going to show you how to make this as well. We're going to do both projects today. I'm going to show you first how to cut down this paper. So I'm going to put this aside and let's go ahead and cut down our 6 by 6 paper to do this sheet load. And at the very end, I'll go in and I'll do a full recap of all of my cards and all of my bookmarks as well. So just as a heads up on that. So let's go ahead and take out our supplies. So I'm going to bring out my paper trimmer. We will definitely need that. Now I do have some supplies here. So for the bookmarks, I have 2 little die cut bows here. You can see the little holographic bows. And then I do have some holographic cardstock. This cardstock measures 2.5 by 6 1/4. So those are the dimensions for mine. I'll give you all the dimensions. I'll probably link them down below, but that's what I'm going to use for the bookmarks. I'm going to put that aside for now. We'll do that project second. And then as far as to make my 2 cards, I have 2 sheets of the 6 by 6 paper that came in this Coquette collection. It is single-sided, which again is why I'm doing this. If you do have a double-sided sheet of paper, you do not need to do 2 at a time. You can do with 1 sheet of 6 by 6, do exactly what we're going to do. You're just going to mix and match the backs and the fronts, but I didn't want the white to be one of my patterns. So that's why I chose these 2. And then I have 2 A2 size card bases. These are just regular white card bases. I made them from a sheet of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. I have 2 mats that are, and 2 cardstock mats and 2 white mats. And these are in accordance with the dimensions in the SheetLoad. So you'll definitely have to pick up this SheetLoad in order to get these dimensions. I kept that exactly the same, okay? But let's go ahead and cut down the paper. So we are going to be making a vertical card with this. So let me show you. And the orientation will matter for this, because you want for a vertical card, you want your pattern to go up and down just like that. So what I'm gonna do is, with the top to the top, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut it at 3 3/4. Now, this little scrap right here, you probably guessed it, is gonna be our bookmark. Okay, so you see how it fits in there perfectly? All I did was round the corners, glued it to the holographic cardstock, added the bow, and then laminated it. That's all I did, okay? So that's our bookmark. So we'll put that aside. Now, this is the piece of paper that we're gonna use to make our card. So in theory, you don't need a full 6 by 6 to make this project. You can do it with 3 3/4 by 6 inches, okay? That's what I'm using for this. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna go ahead and rotate the top. I'm just gonna turn it one time to the right. So with the top to the side, we're gonna go ahead and cut it down to 5 inches, and that's gonna be our large mat. So here is our mat. This is again 3 3/4 by 5. That's gonna fit perfectly on the front of our card. You see that, how I overlap? So that's our large mat. Now with this little bitty strip, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and cut down this section right here, which I did modify it from the original sketch, and I mentioned it in my video on the second. The reason why I did that was because I have a vertical mat here. There was much more space on top. You see here how there's just a little bit of space on this one, but on this one I have a way more space. So what I wanted to do was make this pattern paper just a little bit more showy there. So I went ahead and I left it the width of this. So we're gonna cut this down and I believe it's 2 inches. So we're gonna cut it down to 2 inches. And then what's left is what we're gonna turn into our little bitty scraps that go here on the side, and we won't have anything left over, okay? So let me just move this again. Okay, so again, this little bitty section right here, this is 1 inch by 2 inches. So we're gonna go ahead and just cut 2 inches off. And one thing I will give you as a tip, if there is a pattern, which there usually is a pattern, right? And what you're gonna wanna do is figure out which way do you wanna cut it, because that's what's gonna be on the front of your card. So you can cut it from this side, or you can cut it from this side. So see, when I cut it from this side, it's a little bit off. You see how I like have partial of a bow on there and then one full bow right in the center there. But if I do it from this side, I actually get 2 bows with the little shell right in the center. I'm gonna cut it from that side. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut it down to 2 inches. Okay, so here is my little piece. This one again is gonna go right on the front, okay? And then we have this leftover little piece. Now what I'm gonna do with this is I'm literally just going to cut it in half and then in half again, and that'll give me my 4 strips. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut it in half. And this is about 1 inch, so I'm gonna cut it at about the halfway point. And then these 2 pieces, I'm gonna cut these in half again. And so this is approximately 1 3/4. So I'm gonna cut it somewhere right there at the like 1 7/8 mark. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you wanna get it as close as possible. So actually it's 7/8. It's not 1 7/8. 7/8 is where I'm gonna be cutting that. Just a little more than 3/4. So that's all I did. Those are my 4 pieces. Those are gonna be the ones for the sides. Those are the cuts. We have our large mat, we have our little scrap that's going on the front, and then we have our 4 pieces that are gonna go on the sides of our actual card itself. So we repeat the cuts with the second piece of paper the exact same way. So this one is not really dimensional, or this one is not really directional. I feel like I could cut it either way. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut it down again, 3 3/4. Here's my second bookmarker. I'm gonna go ahead and rotate this one time, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut it down at 5. Here's my second mat. And then with this one, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it down to 2 inches. And you see how I have a big white gap right here? I'm gonna go ahead and cut it from this side. So I'm gonna cut it 2 inches this way, and I'm gonna keep the side that's on the left. So there's the one that's gonna go on the front of my card. And then I'm gonna just cut this one in half. So cut it about half. 1 inch and then cut it about 7/8 on this side. Okay, so I've got my 4 pieces, I've got my little front mat, and I have my large mat as well. So now I have all of my cuts done. Let me put the trimmer away. Okay, so we have all of our papers here. I'm gonna go ahead and do the mix matching right now with the patterns. So basically this little strip and these little ends are gonna go with that mat, and the opposite are gonna go with the other side. So that's basically all you do there, is just flip flop it. Now, as far as to assemble the card, what we're gonna do, and I'll probably assemble one with you and then I'll just do the other one real quick after. But what we'll do is we're gonna need a card base, the cardstock mat, which doesn't have to be holographic. I'm just using holographic. And then also the white mat as well. And again, these dimensions are in the SheetLoad, okay? Now, what we're gonna do, the way that we layer this is you take one of your, you're gonna have your larger mat's gonna be on top, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna end up gluing these down first, just like this. We'll do 4 of them, and I'll show you how to do all of that. So we'll glue those 4 on the edge first, then we're gonna glue the mat, then we're gonna go ahead and glue these 2 pieces as well as this piece. And that's the general layout of our card. Then the way that I finished these off I put a sticker here that came with a collection. I had purchased that separately, and then I added 2 little bitty enamel dots, or little like flat back pearls. I had also picked those up from Hobby Lobby, so I'll pull those out in a second and we'll add that as well. But that's basically how you assemble that card. Let's go ahead and assemble one of these together, and then I'll assemble the second one off camera. Okay, so now the best option to do is you definitely want to glue these 4 little pieces first. What I recommend is once you've done one of these, use it as a guide. So that's what I did. So I went ahead and I just put it next to it, and that tells me where I need to glue my pieces. So I'm just going to kind of get them sort of aligned here. And what I'm doing first is sort of figuring out how I want to set up my pieces. I think I want to do it like that. So I have a little bit of blue there, a little blue here, some stripe there. I think that's what I'll do. So then all you do is you just glue them down. So I'm gonna go ahead and again, I'm gonna kind of keep it real close to it, and we're gonna add a little bit of glue. And I'm just using my Lineco glue. It's one of my favorites. I will link it down below. Then you go ahead and add it. And again, just sort of check your placement. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you definitely wanna make sure that you have even on both sides, regardless of where you place it. So now I'm gonna go ahead and do the second piece for the right-hand side. And again, I'm gonna just sort of try to mimic as close to this as possible. Okay, and then let's do it again. And I'm gonna flip it to this side this time. And just sort of keep things aligned. I'm trying to make sure that these 2 are pretty much exactly where they need to be. And then I'll do the final one. And then, like I said, you can kind of check your alignment and just make sure everything is good to go. Seems like it's a little bit lower, but I think it'll be okay. Okay, so that's the first step. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and glue down this mat. So I'm just gonna add some glue and we'll add it to the front of our card. Okay, the last step is just to kind of finish it off with these layered mats. Now, what I do recommend is I'm gonna glue this paper first to my paper mat. It should be pretty much perfect, but I wanna just double check, because if I need to cut off a tiny bit, this is the time to do it. So let me just go ahead and glue this first. And I'm gluing mine at the very bottom. So, and you could leave a little space at the bottom, but I went ahead and just glued it straight at the bottom. And I think it looks pretty good. I don't think I need to cut anything off. So then what I'm gonna do is just glue it to the cardstock mat, which again, I'm using holographic. And I did pick mine up from Michael's. I used to pick up the one from Joann's, but well, we know what happened with Joann's. And so I'm unable to get that one anymore. So I just went ahead and I pick up the one from Michael's now. In fact, they have it on their website where you can buy it in bulk. I did not know this. And it basically comes out to be like $2 and some cents per pack. And that's what I did. I stocked up because I love using holographic cardstock. I think it's just so fun, especially with summer and Halloween. And I think it's just so fun. So that's how we do that. The last step is just to go ahead and glue it right on the center of our card. So let's do that. Okay, now you could have technically stamped your sentiment if that's what you were doing. Because I'm doing stickers, I went ahead and added mine on at the very end. Like I just added the sticker at the very end. But again, if you are stamping, you can absolutely stamp this first. You can glue down this little mat and then stamp, and that way you know exactly where to stamp, or just use another one as a guide and then stamp. But that's where we're at so far. So here's where we're at. Let me go ahead and grab my stickers and we'll see what sticker we're gonna go ahead and add, and we'll finish it off with those flat back pearls. Okay, so these were the stickers that I was using. Let's see, it doesn't really say, but these were the ones from the Paper Studio. They were $2.99. I got them for 40% off. It came with 16 stickers. I have 4 left, so it looks like I made 12 cards total. But that is what I have left over so far. And then these were the gems or the flat back pearls that I used. I thought they were super pretty. It has like an iridescent sheen. It's not really probably picking up too well on camera, but it's really pretty in person. I used all of the smaller size. You can kind of see here, like this size right here. But this is what it looks like when you buy it brand new. But I did pick up a few of these when I was picking up this collection because I thought it would work perfectly. And I think it really does. Now, if you did not have the sticker sheet, but you did have the sticker book, you could technically use a few of the stickers from the little sticker book. There's a couple of like little sentiments here, but otherwise you pretty much will be using images, decor, and then you might have to still add your own little sentiment, okay? But that might be an option. And then the other option you could do is if you did have the paper crafting kit, it does have some stickers that come with this kit. And there are also some ephemera pieces, and some of them have words on them. So you could absolutely kind of mix and match. And if you didn't have those flat back pearls, the iridescent ones, this paper crafting kit does come with little mini pearls. You could use that as well. So in theory, if you picked up this collection kit, you could make all of your cards, cut it down to 6x6 paper, and then, you know, have fun making your card and your bookmark. But that's what I have. And I'm going to see real quick if I like this on any of them. I feel like the black is really probably not going to work in this scenario. And this blue one's a little bit big. I think I'm going to end up pulling a couple of sentiments from this pack. Let me pull this open real quick and I will grab the stickers that I want from this one. Okay, so here is the sticker sheet that came with that paper crafting kit. I think I want to use this one and this one for the 2 cards that I'm going to be doing today. So I think what I'll do is go ahead and open this pack. And I'm going to see, what the beauty of this is on a clear background, so I can actually audition the pieces. Now, this other one has a lot of these bows. So I wonder if we should go with more of the floral one for this one. I like how that looks. I think this is the one we're going to use for this one. And I think I'm going to save this one with the bows for this one right here. Okay. So I think that's what we're going to do. Let's just go ahead and apply the sticker. So I think I'm going to do this one with the blue. Oh no, I cut it. It's okay. We will make it work. Can't even tell. Okay, so let's go ahead and add this to it. And I think I'm going to do it all the way to the bottom. Let's just do it there. So it's not perfect, but that is absolutely okay. I kind of cut the sticker a little bit. That was just me, but here's what that's going to look like. And then to finish this off, I'm going to add 2 of these little pearls. I think they're so pretty. Super pretty. So I am using this smaller size, and it just is perfect because I have 4 left. But all I did was add 2 to this right hand side. And just like that, that's our card. So I think it turns out super cute. Let's go ahead and let me show you how I did the bookmarker, and then off camera I'll finish the last set, and then I'll show you the full recap of everything. So those are the items I used. Let's go ahead and make the coordinating bookmarker. So I'm going to just take out one of the holographic mats, one of the bows, and then one of the actual papers, and I will make the second one off camera. Now I did also bring in my We Are Memory Keepers corner chomper, just to corner round both the holographic cardstock and to corner round the paper mat. And because this was going to be a little bit more of a dainty bookmark with the little bow and everything, I went with the 1/4 inch. I don't know if you can see it, but 1/4 inch. So I'm going to just do the corner rounding on all 4 corners, so it will align with what the rounding I already did on my mat. And then what I did was I glued this down first. Look how that's already really stunning. And then all I did was I glued the bow, only the bottom part, to my bookmarker. Now you could leave it just like this, but because I wanted it to be super sturdy, I went ahead and I laminated it. And here's kind of a close-up of what it looks like once it's laminated. It is see-through as far as right here in this section. And then it is brown like craft color because that's just the color of the back of my holographic cardstock. If your cardstock was double-sided, you would actually see the back color. And even if your bow, like if you did like a pink bow, you would be able to see the back pink of the bow if it's the same color. So, but I will definitely laminate off camera. You just pass it through the laminator. So, and I did laminate with a 3mm lamination. So I'm going to go ahead and add some glue to my bookmarker, my mat, and add it to the actual cardstock here. Now, normally I would recommend some ATG, like a dry adhesive on this, but because I'm going to pass it through my lamination machine, I want to make sure that the glue is fully dry. So because of that, I am like going against my rules and I'm using wet glue. It's not my favorite when it comes to holographic or metallic cardstock, because just like you're seeing here, it shifts and a lot of it squeezes out, and I have to kind of make sure I wipe it a certain way. But once it's down and this actually dries, I feel much safer about that passing through a lamination machine than if it was still wet adhesive under it. I'm afraid what it may do when it burns, you know, from the lamination, the heat of the lamination. So that's our actual bookmark. That's done there. Now I'm going to go ahead and add this cute little bow to the top. I just love how dainty it makes it look. And I think it goes perfect with the Coquette collection. So what I'm going to do is, you see how I've laid it right on top. The top portion of the bow is not actually going to have glue. So I want to make sure that I only do half of that circle center piece and then all the way down and the strips that are hanging off of the bow, like the little tails. So when I add my glue, and again, I'm using wet glue for this, I'm just going to do half here. I'm going to do half there, half here, and then I'm going to do the entire little tail, both tails. And it really doesn't need a ton of glue because we are going to pass it through the laminator. So, and it's going to laminate tight to it. So no big deal there. But I do want to make sure I get a good little bond on it first. And then again, if you have excess glue, make sure you wipe it off, because once you laminate it, you will not be able to go back and clean it up. So see, like you see how it's kind of coming out. That's the one thing I'm not a big fan of with the metallic. It really seems to come out a little bit easier. It doesn't adhere to the paper as easily, as quickly. So, and then if you have glue on the back, make sure you wipe that down as well. So that is our bookmark. Super cute. And that was our card. So again, this was from one sheet of 6x6 paper. Again, I cut down 2 because this was single-sided and I wanted to mix and match my patterns. But look how cute this little set is. Super cute. I am planning on using these for, I think, craft fair, or maybe to even post in my Etsy, but I think they're just super, super cute. And once you laminate this bookmark, it's going to be even more durable. So, so, so pretty. So here's this. I'm going to go ahead and make the second set off camera, and then I'll come back for a full final recap up next. Okay, so to recap, we have the SheetLoad of cards by Call Me Crafty Owl. This is for July 2025. You can pick this up on Alicia's channel. I'll link it down below. I went ahead and made some slight modifications because this was calling for 12x12 paper, but I wanted to make a card using 6x6, and I did bring out this Coquette collection by the Paper Studio. I picked this up from Hobby Lobby when it was 40% off, and it does go 40% like every other week or so. Now, the one thing that I did do different, or two things I guess, I switched it to a vertical layout, so I have a vertical card instead of horizontal. The other thing that I did, and then I shifted my little sides. The other thing that I did was my mat is a little bit larger than the one that calls on the SheetLoad. And that's because, again, I wanted to maximize my paper and not have any scraps. And so what I did today was I was able to take 2 sheets and turn it into 2 sets of projects. So here were the sets. And so each one sheet will yield you a card that follows very closely to the SheetLoad and then one bookmarker. And these were the two designs that I had come up with. I think they turned out super, super cute. And because this is single-sided paper, I went ahead and brought in a second sheet and mixed and matched my patterns. And so I ended up with two of each. So I have 2 cards and 2 of the fun bookmarks. Now, I did not laminate these yet. I laminate a few times a week. So I'm gonna go ahead and just toss this in my laminating bin. And the next time I do take out my laminator, which will likely be in the next 24 to 48 hours, I will go ahead and laminate these. But for now, just know that I will go back and laminate these, okay? So let's go ahead and do a full recap of all of the actual projects that I ended up making with this collection and with this SheetLoad. So here are the cards. I think they turned out super pretty. I absolutely love that there are no scraps whatsoever, no scraps at all. And I absolutely love too that I was able to get 2 projects from the one sheet of 6 by 6. This is such a pretty collection. I couldn't wait to use it. And so when I saw that this was the SheetLoad, I knew that I wanted to try to make it work. And this was just my version of trying to make it work. So I think these turned out super cute. I really like the addition of those stickers. I thought it made it so easy. And there are times where I'm just way too lazy to take up my stamps. And this was one of those times. And I thought these little stickers worked perfectly with the collection. And I absolutely love these little pearls. I don't know if you can see it. I don't think it does it justice, but they're so gorgeous. Love the pop of the holographic as well. Now I did also, again, I had my bookmarkers. So I have the 2 that I did not laminate yet. You can probably see the holographic pop a little bit more on those. But then I have the ones that I did laminate. And again, they're so sturdy when you do laminate them. I think they turned out super cute. I love how the little bow just sort of hangs off the top. I think it just makes it look so pretty. These pattern papers are so stinking cute. And so just the little pop of the bow and the holographic, I think it just makes it look even more whimsy and more dainty and just absolutely gorgeous. So those were my 2 projects. Again, you can get with one sheet of 6 by 6, you can get a card, an A2 size card, closely following the SheetLoad, plus 1 additional bookmark. And you don't have to use the design that I'm showing you with like a bow and some extra paper, especially if you're using a thicker cardstock. You could literally just cut it, laminate it, or even corner round it and then laminate it. Or you don't have to laminate it at all. You can just decorate it or leave it as is. But I wanted to go ahead and make this even more dainty. I thought this was a perfect little addition with the little bow. So again, I hope you enjoyed that. Hope you got some inspiration. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comments down below. I'm happy to help answer and do, anything that I can. I have one more bookmarker project that I'm working on. I'm going to try to finish it up this month. I started it last month, so stay tuned for that. And then if you have been playing along with my giveaways, thank you so much. I am behind on posting the next round of prizes. I will do that, and then I will get them caught up as quickly as I can because everybody has been leaving me those comments. Absolutely love that. And I've already started sending out the prizes for the first round of winners. So thank you so much to everybody. I hope you enjoy this. Go take out your supplies, take out the SheetLoad, start crafting. And again, you don't have to have any scraps. You can do projects like this where you don't have any scraps at all left over. Thanks so much. As always, happy crafting. Thanks so much for visiting, everyone. Drop me your favorite heart emoji down in the comments to let me know that you made it this far in the video. Happy crafting.